Hi, everyone. Let me see who are here. Okay, so I have Vincent and Jennifer. Okay, so anyway, maybe more are coming. So I will start my presentation today. Today, we're going to talk about the imperial support Buddhism. So it's in chapter 9. And this topic is important when we discuss about the Platform Sutra. It is because the support of the emperors of the court was very important in ancient China. Financially, that the support from the emperors are important to sustain the daily necessities of the monastery. And the political support also was very important because in China, the local religion, Taoism, used to be very strong and then supported by the emperors. And Buddhism, as a religion from outside India, so it is regarded as a force from outside. So when it comes to China, yeah, the definitely that there would be a dispute, argument between the religion from outside and the local religions. So the state, the position of the emperor of the court becomes very important. So if the emperor support the growth of Taoism, then it can develop prosperously, and vice versa. If Buddhism was supported by the court, then financially and politically, that it can have its stand and it can speak louder to the general public. So today we're going to discuss about the imperial support Buddhism. And so to talk about that, we have to discuss about the time period of the sixth patriarch Huineng. So Huineng was born in Tang Dynasty, and Tang Dynasty is regarded as a very prosperous, huge, powerful empire. And in Tang Dynasty, the first few emperors, they work hard, and then so they build a strong empire. So it starts from Gaozhu and then Taizong. So Empress Wu was wife to Taizong. So she lived in a time period that the Tang Dynasty was very strong. And so when Empress Wu took the throne from her husband, Tang Taizong, and then she built up a dynasty of her own, which is called Zhou. And Zhou, although only last for one generation, right? The Empress Wu, because after that, the throne was handed over back to the emperor family Li. Okay, and so we are going to discuss about what happened in the reign of Empress Wu. So here are some of the main points that we're going to discuss. 5 points here. One is she is making Buddhism the primary religion of China. Number 2, she protected the Dharma. Number three, she supported international Buddhism. Number four, she respected the national master. Number five, she promoted Buddhist sculpture. So the first one, making Buddhism the primary religion of China. So what else? The dynasty Tang was initiated by the family named Li. And so it sort of associated the founder of Taoism, Lao Tzu, and Lao Tzu also has a name, Li. So because they share the same family name, Li, so in Tang Dynasty at the beginning, they respect Taoism, okay? And then sort of putting down Buddhism. And so started from Empress Hu, because she started a dynasty of her own. And so therefore, she supported Buddhism in contesting the Li family who supported Taoism. Okay? And in doing that, she was making use of the Buddhist precept, the 5 precepts, as an education to discipline an individual's behavior. And when she ruled the country, she is making use of the Buddha's teaching, the Dharma, to rule the whole country. Okay? So she built a lot of temples, which is entitled as the Dayun Si, the big cloud temple, literally translated as big clouds. Okay, and so in her reign, under her reign, the whole empire was in appearance, it looked like that it is ruled by Buddhist teaching, and then there are Buddhist temple all over, and then she highly respect Buddhist masters, and then she also supported all kind of Buddhist business under her reign, and she protect the Dharma. This is point number 2. So she emphasized the sutra, the Avantasaka Sutra, or Flower Garland Sutra, Huayan Jing in Chinese. And this sutra was translated into Chinese in the Eastern Jin Dynasty, but it was not fully translated. So she further support the translator, Venerable Master Nanda, or Shicha Nanduo in Chinese. And then, so monetary, that she support the sutra translation centers. Now we know in ancient China, when the emperor or empress support the translation centers, it is also a praise for preaching Dharma. That means when the translator translate the text, then he would expound the Dharma to the audience. And at that time, the audience or the translator team, they also learn the Buddha's teaching. Okay, so the translator center, it is also regarded as a Dharma center. And so because of that, she highly supported the translation and the spread of the Avantasaka Sutra. And so the one who really established the school of Huayan, or Huayan Zong in Chinese, was living in the time under Empress Wu's reign. And so therefore, the Huayan school was highly developed in her time. Number three, Empress Wu support the international Buddhism, meaning that she will support the monastics, not only living in China, but also she venerated the Sutra translators coming from other countries. So for example, Bodhiruchi or Bodhi Liuzi in Chinese, and a very great Sutra translator, Yi Jing, Master Yi Jing. So she just giving the two masters' name to show that translators of sutras, great translators from all over the world, who comes from other places coming to China, that the empress would definitely support monetarily and then politically. So Buddhism sort of thriving in her times. And she also making use of the Buddha's teaching to teach the people to practice charity works. And so she established field care centers. It's just like a charity organizations helping people in times of need. Number four is respecting the national masters. So for example, Chan Master Song Yue Hui An and Chan Master Shen Xiu. So these national masters, they were highly respected by the emperors. And so they were offered with very beautifully built temples, and so that they can they are regarded as national master because they are elevated to the level, the highest level in this country, that even the emperor, the empress, has to learn under these national masters. And that is a very, that demonstrate a very big influence in the empire. So the commoners, the general public in this empire, when they see that their ruler venerating the great masters, they also follow the suit. Okay? So it has generated a very big influence among the Chinese people at that time. And so the development of Chinese Buddhism, I would say, the support of the court, of the emperors and the empress, are very, very important. Number five is promoting Buddhist sculpture. As I said, that the Empress Wu, because he started a dynasty of her own, and also she is a female. Now, in male superiority, okay, praise like China, she as a female empress, she needs support, okay, to show that she has the authority to govern the country. So she's making use of the Buddhist texts, Huayan Jing, the Avantasaka Sutra, and also in building Buddha images, sculptures, okay, to be as a tool of education, a tool of ruling the country. Okay? And so in, say, for example, in Henan, Luoyang, there is a Buddhist caves called Longmen Caves, Longmen Shiku in Chinese. And she had people to do the sculpture, which is a very well-known now, Vairochana Buddha, located in Fengxian Temple. Now, if you see the picture that I put it here, then people say that the sculptor was making this image, this face, okay, on the image of Empress Wu. Okay, so maybe if you have an interest, you can keep doing research on that, and maybe you will have big findings of Empress Wu. And so following the Empress Wu, then the power of the court went back to the Li family. So Emperor Zhongzong or Tang Zhongzong took the throne after Empress Wu. And under his reign, he banned the distribution of the Laozi FoGuangHuB Sutra. Now, let me spend some time in talking about Laozi FoGuangHuB Sutra. So, in the competition of the religion from outside, or what we call it as outsiders religion, that is Buddhism at that time, and a local religion, that is Taoism. So the founder of Taoism usually is called Laozi. So Laozi FoGuangHuB Sutra, the appearance of this sutra is, the purpose of this sutra is to demote the status of Buddhism. Okay. And so it is said that in this sutra, it describes that Laozi really went to India and teach Buddha. And so it makes Laozi as the teacher and Buddha as the student. Okay, so the Emperor Zhongzong, he banned the distribution of this sutra, meaning that this emperor respect Buddhism and elevate the status of Buddhism under his reign. And so he honored Master Huineng, the sixth patriarch. Okay, and then so during in the palace, he allowed the Buddhist monks to organize summer retreats there. Okay, and then he himself also got ordained with the Bodhisattva precepts. So the emperor himself demonstrate that he also observe the Bodhisattva precept, follows the teaching of the Mahayana Sutra. Okay? And so the emperor, while the translator, Master Yi Jing, has finished his translation of the sutras, the emperor will write a foreword. Okay? And that means the emperor support the sutra translation, okay? And then also gives his respect to the translator, Yi Jing. So, and like that, he also pay his personal contribution to another sutra translator, Bodhi Ritchie. So that means following Empress Wu, the emperors in the court, they're continuing supporting the development of Buddhism. And another thing that Emperor Zhongzong has done is he bestowed Venerable Master Shen Xiu's honorary title. Okay, and then he offered a purple robe to Tan Master Hui An. So in the slides, I show you an example of the purple robe. Usually, the robe of the monks, you see on the slides I put on the left-hand side, it's piece of different kinds of discarded robe, and they stitch that together. So a monk to cultivate himself is not attaching to the material things that the monks will put on the robe like this. And then later it developed into that the monks are not putting the robe like beggar's robe. So we have a better looking robe that you can see on the right-hand side. Now in the middle, you see the red robe, or we call that in Chinese, 红主衣. So this is a robe that monks, monastics put on when we host a service, okay? And the presiding monk usually put on the red robe. And when the emperor bestowed or give the highly respected monk's robe, then they will make it something different. So purple is their choice, right? A purple robe to national masters especially. And so you can see that the color of purple. Usually the presiding monks of a temple, we don't put on the purple colored robe. So this shows a special honor to that great master. And this emperor, Zhongzong, also personally welcomed Siksananda when he came from Central Asia to Chang'an, the capital city of Tang Dynasty. And he venerated the Buddha's bone relics at the palace. And so that is a very special way to show to his subordinates that he wants all the country people to follow the Buddha's teaching, to respect the Buddha's bone relics. Okay? And then he also asked the artist to draw pictures, portraits of the high monks on the walls of Lingguang Hall, that is in the palace, and praises for them. So all these are the ways that we see the emperors, how they respect the Buddhism and Buddhist masters, and to show that to do that as a role model for their own countrymen to follow suit. Okay, so next we are going to discuss about the topic about how to handing down the lineage, to continue the lineage. So in the subtitle in this chapter, we put it as the endless lamp. So first, let's talk about what is a lamp, the definition of a lamp. It is a lamp that can pass its light to an infinite number of lamps by passing the flame from lamp to lamp. So it continues. Okay, there are different lamps, but the flame passes on. So it has its symbolic meaning. It symbolizes the lineage of the Dharma from teacher to disciple that we can see from the picture that I show on the right-hand side. So this is a typical way to demonstrate how in the old days, a teacher and a student one-on-one teaching based on the different personality, faculty of the disciple, so that the teacher's teaching can meet the needs of the disciple. Okay? And the lamp also symbolizes wisdom, radiance, dharma, and truth. So see the slides, the picture on the left-hand side. This is in early Buddhism, the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha himself, he was also teaching the monks. Okay? And in teaching the monks, it tells that you see the light beaming out, emitting from the physical body of the Buddha. So the Buddha's teaching symbolizes wisdom, radiance, okay, chasing away the darkness of the mind of the students. And the lamp also symbolizes the Dharma that the Buddha taught. And the Dharma itself is truth. Okay, so in talking about the endless lamp, and let's understand what does the lamp represent. Okay, and so how we learn Buddhism? We learn Buddhism. We study the text, the sutra, the commentary of the sutra. And we also practice, we observe the precept, we do meditation to train our mind, be mindful. And so when we say to passing on the flame from lamp to lamp, okay, and it is our learning Buddhism is like lighting the lamp within our mind to illuminate our ignorance and our afflictions. Okay? So it is inside our mind that we illuminate our mind so that there is no ignorance and worries. Now, it also symbolizing that when we learn, our learning of Buddhism is lighting the lamp of pragya, okay? Pragya wisdom, and that is the wisdom of the Buddha. And we want to light the wisdom of the Buddha within our mind. So we are not only chasing away the darkness of our mind, it also shines out on ourselves and others. Okay, so it has that kind of meaning. One is to illuminate the mind inside. The other is illuminate not only ourselves, but also others. And through what? It is through learning Buddhism that we can light that kind of lamp. So passing on the lineage of Dharma in Chan Buddhism from the first patriarch, Bodhidharma, to the six patriarchs. They are using the robe and bowl to be the symbol that I'm passing on the lineage from the first generation of the master to the second generation, and so that the disciples also can see that robe and bowl passing on from from one master to another. But the fifth patriarch Hongren told the sixth patriarch Huineng, he says that the robe and bowl can be the objects of contest, of argument, of disagreement. So therefore, I'm bestowing the robe and bowl onto you, Master Huineng. So, but please do not continue to use robe and bowl as a symbol of passing down the lineage of Dharma. And so for Huineng, the sixth patriarch, right, he's receiving the what we call quote unquote certificate, right, of being the receiver of the Dharma from the fifth patriarch. He got it with his virya, his effort. He's not getting that in vain. Okay? There is no free lunch in getting the kind of honor from his master. He has cultivated his virtue, and that virtue, okay, based on this master, his virtue is acquired from many days of pounding rice in Bangmei under the fifth patriarch Hongren. So he has done a lot in cultivating himself to get that affirmation from his master. So the robe and bowl, it looked as something outside an object. Okay, it's a symbolic meaning, but it is from the sixth patriarch that the symbol of getting certified by the teacher is changing from robe and bowl to endless lamp. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean that there is a real lamp holding by the teacher, the master, to his students. Okay, as we have just mentioned, that the lamp represents the wisdom, the praja wisdom that would chase away the darkness of the mind. So from the sixth patriarch, when he teaches his students and the student becomes qualified for continuing the lineage, he's no longer giving his robe and bowl that he received from the fifth patriarch Hongren. Okay? He was just telling them to continue the lineage, go and to spread the Dharma, okay, to places as far as possible. So from the sixth patriarch, that his students has continued the lineage in many different ways. And the most famous one are the 5 schools. And the Linji school also continue to further develop into 2 other different schools. So that means by not passing on the lineage through the object of robe and bowl, that the sixth patriarch is able to spread the Dharma to a wider range, a bigger scope of people and place. And that is what I show in this picture, that on the left-hand side, you can see the lights, and then one light shines upon others. And say, for example, one person emits light, and the people around him also emitting light. So many people would be shown under the light. And it's like that the Buddha's teaching is not only passing on from one master to another master. It is spreading out to limitless places, to limitless people. So we would say that because of discarding the way of passing on the objects of robe and bowl, and to be replaced by endless lamp, just passing on the Dharma, the prajna wisdom, that the this kind of passing on the lineage of Dharma can be spread to many more places, to a lot more people. Okay, so next is another topic, the third topic in this chapter that Venerable Master Xing Yun tried to tell us is neither arising nor ceasing. Now, this is a somewhat difficult topic to talk about within a short period of time. So let's say that non-arising and non-ceasing, they are regarded as the supramundane truths. Why it is supramundane? We as ordinary human beings, we live in a mundane world, so we experience the mundane truths. And what is the mundane truths? That we see all the things, the objects, the mountains, the rivers, the people, these phenomena, okay, what we experience, actually, they do not truly exist. And why is that? Because they rely on causes and conditions. Anything that rely on causes and conditions, they cannot have what we call true self of its own. Okay, so they just temporarily exist or momentarily exist, because the causes and conditions, they are changing all the time. Okay, so the result of causes and conditions, they cannot exist forever. So these phenomena do not truly exist. And so, like the picture that I show it here, now the same length of the line, you can see the red color, the straight line, when it is drawn by the different directions of the arrow mark, it sort of changes the length of the red line. So you see the one in the middle of the three lines is longer, but actually when you use the ruler to measure it, it's the same. Okay, so the arrows at the two ends of the line can be regarded as conditions. Okay, so when conditions are different, what we ordinary human naked eyes see, it changes. Okay? It seems that it's longer, the middle one, but actually it is not. So it is like what happened in the phenomenal world, that the trees we see, because it has its conditions, and the conditions changes. The way we see that tree also looks different. Okay, the weather, when the weather is good, the tree looks more vivid, okay, full of life. But under a cloudy, windy day, it looks very different. It seems that it's withering, it's dying, okay, and maybe sometimes it looks terrible. Okay, so for the if we look at things from a supramundane perspective, then we can see the non-arising and non-ceasing of everything in the world. Okay, and that is our cultivation, that as an ordinary person living in a mundane world, that we want to be able to see what's there, okay, if we were living in a supra-mundane level, and that would be non-arising and non-ceasing. So it says that the Buddha and sentient beings, actually, we are the same. And what is that sameness? That is that we both have the same inherent nature of mind. Okay? If we have confidence in that, then we are able to have a glimpse of what a supramundane truth looks like. Okay? So our mind is deceiving. It is full of illusory thought. So here we want to show you what is the mind of a sentient being. Now, in the awakening of the Mahayana Buddhism, it describes that the mind, there are two ways of what the mind sees the world. And then so it used the image of the door to show how we open the door and see the outside world or the inside world. Okay, it says the door of suchness. So in the door of suchness, you can see when you open the door of suchness, you can see true equality of all things. But if as an ordinary sentient being, our mind normally when we open the door, we see the door of arising and ceasing, and that is through our illusory mind. So the picture here, what is the illusory world? See the lines on the right-hand side, actually they are straight, but because of the conditions that we show in between the two lines, it looks like that it's different, but actually they are straight lines. On the left-hand side, you can see the picture of a young lady. You can also see a picture as a very old woman, just like a witch. So the mind of a sentient being, ordinary people, we can see the world through two doors, and that depends on ourselves, whether we want to see the things from the door of suchness or from the door of arising and ceasing. And that is also our practice. So by the end of this section, Venerable Master Xing Yun used poems to illustrate our mind. It says that the shadow of bamboo sweeps across, but the dust does not move. Moonlight penetrates the cold lake, yet the water has no scar. Okay. So I use the picture to describe, to explain. So the shadow of bamboo, just like what we see on the left-hand side, you see the shadow of bamboo leaves. Okay, and so when the wind blows, so it looks like the bamboo leaves are sweeping, okay, on the floor. Okay, so the shadow of bamboo sweeps across, but the dust on the floor, okay, but the dust does not move. Why? Because the bamboo leaves not really touching the floor. So how can the dust be moved, right? It's only the shadow of bamboo. And the verb that we use, that I put it in red inks, it seems that it's sweeping the floor, okay? So this is from our ordinary sentient being's mind. Okay? We have a rising and ceasing, okay? 生灭. And so therefore, we seemingly feel that the shadow of bamboo leaves are sweeping across the floor. Okay? And it is just like what we experience in our daily life. We are working very hard. We earn money, we spend money, and we enjoy what the money can buy for us. And then we are elevated in positions in our workplace. And it seems that we are um, honored by others because we have a high position in an organization. So all these are regarded as the shadow of the beliefs, right? And the dust does not move, right? And it shows that actually the mind, okay, the true mind inside ourselves remain unmoved. It's there. The outside world, the causes, the conditions, they keep on changing all the time, but they are just the shadow of the bamboo leaves. Okay? So what we want to cultivate our mind is that unmoved. Okay? The true mind is non-arising, non-ceasing. The second metaphor used here is moonlight. So here, the moonlight in the sky, okay, shines upon the lake. So the verb you use is penetrate. So moonlight penetrate the cold lake. Yet the water has no scar, right? Because it's just a reflection of the moonlight, but it seems that it penetrates the cold lake. Okay, so the what we experience in our daily life, it seems that it has all kinds of actions, movement. We are doing a lot of things in our daily life, right? But actually, it leaves no scar in our mind. The mind is there, not moving, okay? Nothing penetrates our mind, but it's seemingly that the things we experience in our daily life are penetrating here and there in all directions. And that's why we have all kinds of emotions. Okay, so the last point that Venerable Master Xing Yun illustrated here is allow the waters to run swiftly, circumstances remain still. Naturally dropping flowers are also carefree. So here I highlight the verb. Okay? It says the waters, we allow the waters to run swiftly. So they just run very fast. And the circumstances remain still. Right? It's only the water flows that runs very fast. And the flowers falling down, okay, falling down naturally. So it's just as it is. So it doesn't bother our mind. Just let it blossom, let the flowers blossom, and let it falling down. We can help it. So we just let it be. And the waters, just let it run fast. But the surrounding of the water is remain still. Okay. So this is the way how we cultivate our mind, not being influenced by the circumstances, not being influenced by the causes and conditions. There is something remain calm and still, and that is the true mind that we want to discover in us. Okay? So this is my presentation today. Any questions from the audience today? We have Jennifer and Vincent. Do you have any comment on my lecture today? Jennifer, can you follow?
I follow it and I do understand it. And as I was listening to your presentation, which is very profound, um, I couldn't help but what the thought that comes into my mind basically is it how do we remind ourselves when we in our daily life as we run into situations and we know that our mind shouldn't be influenced and that it should be remain calm. But it is not that easy and that simple to do because, life takes over. And it's not like you sometimes can just sit and think like, okay, I'm going to remind myself this is not going to bother me. Emotions is something, we're all human beings. And
Right.
we are so easily influenced by every little single thing, which is through our emotions. So I was just thinking out loud, like, yes, it will take a lot of cultivations and a lot of um, intention, like mindful intention to set and to be reminded that every single time when you run into situations like that. And I love the poem because it illustrates such a profound, very on point in what we're doing as part of our cultivation. But I also find that it's very difficult to do, and it would take years and years to, just 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 to learn one thing, which is try not to be influenced in untouched by the circumstances and the causes conditions that arise in our surrounding. So
Okay.
I would ask like Venerable, like, you know, what what is the most effective way for somebody in a workplace, or even in our general daily basis, to be reminded to stay calm?
Okay. Thank you for your question. Think about the Master Hui Neng. So when he stayed in Huangmei with Master Hongren, so what did he do back in the kitchen? Um, he's pounding the rice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
For many for many
Eight
days.
months. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it must. So think about what what's in his mind when he's doing pounding the rice. He of course the physically is pounding the rice, but in his mind, if I were, I just put myself in his shoes, and I'm pounding the rice. I can also pounding my arrogance, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and pounding my ignorance, pounding my anger. So when I have anger, emotions arise in me, and then I use this kind of movement, and inside myself, I am hitting, okay,
Mm-hmm.
pounding all these unwholesome things away from me. And in
Mm-hmm.
my daily life, there are a lot of occasions that um, it, people come to the temple. They may say something that I dislike.
Mm-hmm.
They may do something I feel is inappropriate in the temple. So I cannot get angry at these people because I receive them as visitors. So
Mm-hmm.
I also want to show my respect to the visitors and my hospitality to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So uh, the wrongdoings, okay, regarded as their wrongdoings, I would reflect it in myself. It's like what the point says that
Mm-hmm.
it's the shadow of the bamboo leaves, okay? And then so they should not stir up what is in myself, in me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I would just regard it as the reflection of the moonlight. Okay? They are
Mm-hmm.
not penetrating anything in my mind. And so just like a Master Hui Neng, it takes him 8 months to repeat the same kind of thing. And so in our daily life, we would let what happened or the phenomena, the things, the people, their speech, their behavior that come to us, we will regard them as the shadow of bamboo leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe the natural dropping of flowers, right? They just come to us and then we just let it come and let it go.
Let it go.
So our practice is to remain the unmoved, supra mundane truths that these things cannot have any influence, impact on your cultivation. Okay,
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you for your question. How about Vincent?
Yes, I think this section is pretty straightforward than the last section. And I especially appreciate the analogy of sweeping bamboo and moon penetration. I think my interpretation is that they are kind of show the external forces or outside environment. And if our inherent mind or inherent nature of mind doesn't move or doesn't remain still, it's not going to be affected by outside forces or outside environment. I think that's kind of my interpretation. Is that correct interpretation or no?
Right, correct. You are very correct in interpreting the poems. And then sometimes I feel that those people who write this kind of poems, that these people themselves must have experienced that moment of enlightenment, right? The stillness of the mind not being moved by the shadow of the bamboo leaves, the penetration of the moonlight, right? Otherwise, how can they write this kind of poem? So the poet themselves, they are enlightened beings, right? Think about that. And so when we are discussing about these kind of poems, if we also appreciate the poem, so at that moment when we appreciate the poems, our mind is in that kind of enlightenment because we understand, we experience that kind of stillness of the mind. And so the reading of the text, reading this book written by Venerable Master Xing Yun is providing us causes and conditions in experiencing the supramundane truths. This is how I feel every time when I read Venerable Master Xing Yun's writing. And saying that, I also can guarantee that our master, he also have experienced that kind of moment, so that enable him to write a commentary to the Platform Sutra like this. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then so homework. Question 1. So which one is better way to transmit Dharma, rope and bowl or the endless light? So it depends on your own perspective. You can write either rope and bowl or the endless light and give reasons why you choose that. Number 2, question 2, describe the difference between the mind of a sentient being and that of a Buddha. Okay, and I think that is a very easy one. And so I hope you think about it. If you don't have time to write it down, think about, meditate on it. Okay, and if you don't know the answer, go back to the text to read it once more, and you will find the answer that our master gave to us through his writing. Okay, then thank you for joining the class at real time with me. I really do appreciate your attending the class online. For those who have no time, maybe you are busy at this time slot, please read the text and then watch the recordings of this class. It is very interesting, and you will find a lot of what you don't see in your daily life, but through Venerable Master Xing Yun's commentary, you can better have a glimpse at your true mind and your the mind of arising and ceasing. Okay, thank you, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Venerable. Good night.
Good night.